The merge is upon us. Crypto bros everywhere are buzzing. There are billion-dollar bug bounties, and even Bloomberg is reporting on what is happening with Ethereum. Ethereum 2.0, or the Ethereum upgrade, is a change in the way transactions are processed on the Ethereum blockchain. The upgrade was planned out in phases, and the phase called the merge is happening in two parts on September 6th and September 20th. After the second update, dubbed the Paris update, Ethereum will experience a 99.95% decrease in energy consumption as it merges with the proof of stake consensus layer. This upgrade has been several years in the making, with the original target launch date back in 2019. Clearly that did not happen. And the need for this update came about because the Ethereum blockchain, as it stands right now, can only handle about 15 transactions per second. This was fine in the early days, but since then, Ethereum has scaled and it needs to handle much, much more than that. The Ethereum organization originally branded this change as Ethereum 2.0, but earlier in 2020, they went through a rebrand and stopped using that name because it was confusing people. And instead, they started calling this change an upgrade. So if you're out there searching earlier news stories, blog posts, or videos, you might come across this Ethereum 2.0 terminology, and just know it's the same thing. Okay, so what is the upgrade? Without getting into too many technical details, the upgrade is a shift from a proof of work to a proof of stake consensus model. In proof of work, miners compete with each other to use a computer or series of computers' processing power to solve mathematical puzzles that verify new transactions on the Ethereum blockchain. If you want to learn more about proof of work, I will link some explainer videos down below. But the main thing to remember here is that proof of work uses a lot of computing power and therefore a lot of energy. It's very energy intensive. Bitcoin also uses proof of work, and you may have seen Bitcoin mining references in TV shows like Silicon Valley.
Whenever the price of Bitcoin dips below a certain value, it's no longer efficient to mine.
Moving over to proof of stake does not have miners. Instead, they have validators who deposit funds on the network, sort of like collateral. And an algorithm then randomly picks which validator's computer will get to forge a new block on the blockchain. Once that block is forged, that person is rewarded for their efforts with some crypto. There's obviously a lot more to it than that, but what's key to take away here is with proof of stake, there is no computer puzzle solving. It uses a fraction of the computing power and is therefore more energy efficient, and it will eventually allow Ethereum to handle up to 100,000 transactions per second instead of 15. And just for comparison, Visa, who is not on the blockchain, handles about 1,700 transactions per second. With more transactions able to happen, it increases this blockchain's ability to handle crypto projects and decentralized applications, or dApps, scaling the technology. So to recap so far, Ethereum is changing their validation method from an energy-intensive mining to a more efficient method that uses staking. And after the merge, Ethereum mining will likely go away. It might sound like a subtle change, but this development is both unprecedented in the crypto world and an ambitious undertaking. Will it reduce gas fees? This upgrade could result in lower gas or transaction fees, but that is far from guaranteed. Gas fees are related to block space demand, and this update does not increase block size or decrease the demand for block space. So there's nothing inherent about this update that will necessarily reduce gas fees. What are these phases that we keep hearing about? So as I mentioned before, this upgrade is happening in phases, and depending on which outlet you are listening to or reading on, the number of phases varies. Some are reporting that there are 5, others are reporting that there are 4. According to Ethereum co-founder Vitalik, there are 5 phases. So those are the ones we're going to go over today. These phases are the merge, the surge, the verge, the purge, and then the splurge. As you can tell, we have fun over here in Web3. And prior to these 5 phases, we have phase 0, which did not get a cool rhyming name like the rest of them. So starting with phase 0, it laid the groundwork for Beacon Chain. And this is the main coordinating mechanism for the new proof of stake blockchain. Phase 0 went live in a trial capacity in December of 2020, and it has been running in parallel with the legacy Ethereum blockchain ever since. Okay, then we have phase 1, the merge. This is the phase that is coming up and that everyone is talking about. And the merge is the docking of the Ethereum 1.0 legacy blockchain with the Ethereum 2.0 beacon chain. And once this officially goes live, smart contracts will be able to be written in any programming language, not just Solidity, which is the native programming language of Ethereum. Next, we have phase 2, the surge. During phase 2, sharding will be introduced on Ethereum, and I'm just going to spell that out for you. That's sharding, just to clarify. And what this does is it breaks the Ethereum network up into 64 fragment chains or shards to increase the speed and capacity of transactions, hence the name, the surge. And quite honestly, after phase 2, if you are a crypto dabbler, or maybe you just hold some cryptos as investments, the remaining stages are technically important, but they're not vital to understand. So I'm still gonna go over them really quickly, but if you're kind of tuning out, like, that's okay. So phase 3 is the Verge, and during this phase, they are going to introduce an update which will optimize storage on Ethereum and help reduce node size. This reduction helps Ethereum to become more scalable still. Then we have phase 4, the Purge. Not related to the film, as far as I can tell. This update will reduce the amount of hard drive space required by validators and help streamline storage. This reduces network congestion and keeps us with our theme of being better, faster, stronger. And then finally, we have phase 5, the Splurge.
3 words for you: treat yourself. Treat yourself 2011.
And this isn't the fun kind, sadly. This is more of a housekeeping phase where they will launch smaller updates and then clean up any bugs encountered in the first 4 stages, or first 5 stages if you count phase 0. So the question everyone has as soon as they understand these updates and these phases is, will it affect my ETH? The short answer is no. This will not change or affect any ETH that you hold. Unlike the fork that happened in 2016, this upgrade will not result in a new token. Related to this question, people are usually also wondering at this point, is there a way I can make money off of this situation? And this is not financial advice, so go do your own research for that. All I will say is that previous upgrades like this do typically cause crypto prices to increase, but there's no guarantee that this update will do the same. Another common question that I wanted to address here is, will this upgrade kill Polygon and Solana? I don't think this upgrade will immediately kill layer 2 chains like Polygon or layer 1 alternatives like Solana, because they still serve a purpose. And people will probably always want to perform certain functions off the Ethereum mainnet to save on gas fees. And like I said before, even with the upgrade, there is no guarantee that Ethereum gas fees will be reduced. In the long term, I do see this upgrade impacting market share for layer 2 chains because people want convenience, and it's always going to be somewhat inconvenient to go to a layer 2 chain like Polygon. To give you kind of a Web 1 analogy, it's similar to if you have an option to pay for something online with a credit card and pay a small transaction fee, or make that payment with a direct deposit where you have to put in your bank account and routing number, but there's no fee. Do people pay with direct deposit? Yes, of course they do. But given the option, a lot more people would rather pay the transaction fee and pay with a credit card or go with PayPal. And while it's a lot more nuanced in crypto, it's the same sort of trade-off. That's all I have on the Ethereum update. If you want to learn more about investing in crypto, be sure to check out this video right here.